Movie man, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when I do a review? Yeah, anyways, hi, I'm Movie Man. I'm an octopus who reviews movies, and as you can guess, today's review is going to be on Bang Bang. So, I was quite looking forward to this film. I have enjoyed all of the previous Bad Boys movies. Yeah, it was good to hear that they were making another one. I'm actually a little surprised that they still decided to go ahead and release this movie despite a certain controversy that Mr. Mike Lowry got involved 2 years ago now. Yeah, we all remember what happened.
What? Okay. I'm out here. Richard. Oh, wow.
Now 2 years after that whole debacle, he's starring in his first, big movie since then, the fourth Bad Boys movie, alongside Martin Lawrence returning as Marcus Burnett. And well, yeah, I mean, this is the shortest time period with all the Bad Boys films because, because the first movie came out in 1995, and then the second film was released a whole 8 years later in 2003, and then the third film was released 17 years later in 2020, and now 4 years after the third film, we've gotten the fourth movie in the franchise, Ride or Die. But yeah, I was looking forward to it. I thought it did look very fun from the trailers indeed. Went to go see the movie there a few days back now. And having seen the film for myself, what do I think of it? In my opinion, I really liked it. Yeah, I have to say, this was actually a really good film. I definitely had a really fun time with this one. To start things off, the cinematography in this film is really good, to be honest. There's definitely some really nice shots in the film, we get some nice wide shots of Miami, but I think, especially during, a bunch of the action sequences in this film, the cinematography pretty much just goes nuts. To be fair, they do pretty much try to, be a bit consistent with the whole Michael Bay style of it, even though this film and the third movie weren't directed by him. His influence is still very much felt though, but yeah, I guess very crazy. And of course, if you've seen the trailer for the movie, then of course you'll know that great shot where Mike throws the gun to Marcus, and it's the camera just focuses on the gun as it's flung across. Yeah, honestly, a really good shot. One point during the climax, there's this one whole shot where it's from like a shooter game POV, where like Mike is holding his gun and the camera is just like focusing on him as like, you know, he as he's walking with the gun. Yeah, it's I gotta say I actually really like what they did with the cinematography in this film. I thought it was honestly really good. So yeah, the cinematography was actually great in my opinion. The editing in the movie, I think, is good as well. As I mentioned, the cinematography, like during like all the action sequences, definitely really wild, and I think the editing is pretty much consistent with that, as like the way the movie is edited, like it does get quite wild, alright, but it's definitely very consistent with the cinematography just being utter nuts. And yeah, to be honest, I think it helps make the film that more fun, and I do think it honestly works really well. But yeah, so I think the editing in the film is quite good. Now, as for the pace in this film, now, this movie, out of the four Bad Boys films, this one is actually the shortest in the series at 1 hour and 55 minutes. Yeah, that makes it the shortest film in the series, and yeah, honestly, I think that's a perfectly okay runtime for this film. I don't think this film needs to be as long as the previous installments. So yeah, honestly, just a perfectly okay runtime for this film, and yeah, I'll be honest, I think the pace in this film is really good. Like, I mean, to be honest, I kind of felt that like the movie went by pretty quickly, honestly. Because trust me, it is a lot of fun, and like the pacing really does just move quickly along with it. And like yeah, I felt that the story was paced pretty good. And like yeah, it all felt evenly paced. Because like while it honestly didn't really feel like that long of a film, as I said, I thought it went by pretty quickly, but I wouldn't say that it rushed too much either. Like, to be honest, I felt that like you know, it was honestly very well paced. And I think like a lot of like the really fun action sequences kind of really, you know, kind of helped make it more enjoyable and helped it go by quickly. So I think the pace in this film was very good. Now as for the sound and music in this film, like I think a lot of, like the sound effects like during the action sequences, like with like the gun shooting and the vehicles and stuff. Yeah, it's honestly pretty good sounds design. And I think the film has a pretty good score, and kind of is pretty similar to the score of the first three movies, but you know, I do think it does work well. It is pretty good. And of course, we do get to hear the Bad Boys theme in this film. Yeah, like it is you know, a good score. Definitely, you know, a real catchy song. Alright. I have to say, a new song Tonight, the one from the Black Eyed Peas and Becky G that they sung for this film, it's actually really good. It's definitely go and give it a listen on YouTube. I actually really like it. It's very catchy indeed. So yeah, the sound and music in the movie is really good. Now we get to the characters and the performances from the cast. So, starting things off, we of course have our titular bad boys, Marcus Burnett and Mike Lowry. And yeah, once again, they are both really fun characters, and they're both really entertaining to watch. Like with Marcus, like his whole kind of thing in this film, because basically at the start of the film, because Mike gets married in this one, Marcus, he has a heart attack at Mike's wedding and he almost dies, but he's ultimately saved, and because of it, he starts to believe that, like, he's immortal and that he can't die, and, like, yeah, sure, I think maybe it was a little bit over the top, to be honest, but nonetheless, it was still pretty entertaining, and yeah, I do think Marcus was quite an entertaining character in this one, and once again, Mike Lowry was very entertaining here as well, but I like how, like, in this one, he actually kind of gets, like, to become, like, the more kind of serious one of the two, while Marcus kind of takes on the more comedic role. I thought it was a good switch up. It was done very well. And once again, Martin Lawrence and Will Smith, even when, like, they're both, like, older now, like, they're both in their mid to late 50s, once again, their chemistry is still just brilliant, and the way they work off each other is just done so well. So yeah, once again, Marcus and Mike were both great. We also have Armando was of course the main villain in the previous movie, and well, a bit of spoilers for if you haven't seen the third film. Of course he is Mike's son. I thought he was pretty good in this film because, like, unlike in the previous movie when he was the main villain, in this one, now he's actually kind of more of a good guy in this one, and because, you know, he ends up going on the run with Marcus and Mike, and yeah, he does have an arc in the film about his redemption. Yeah, I thought he was pretty solid in this film, and once again, Jacob Scipio did a pretty good job here. So I thought he was pretty good. A lot of the other returning characters, new characters in the film, I think for the most part they're all really solid characters. While they may not be exactly great characters, they all pretty much serve their roles in the plot pretty well, and yeah, they're all solid and fun characters. And then we have the main villain of this movie, James McGrath. And I've got to say, I think he might actually be the best villain in this series. Well, I mean, I know I probably have to think about like whether I like him or Armando or well, Armando in the previous movie, anyways. But I've got to say, James McGrath, he was actually quite a good villain. Like, I'm not gonna lie, he was actually genuinely quite intimidating. Like, I don't get into it, but some of the stuff that he does in the movie, like, he is actually quite threatening. Yeah, like, he was definitely quite a threatening villain indeed, and not gonna lie, he was actually kind of scary. So yeah, I gotta say he was a really good villain, and I think Eric Dane actually did a really good job here. Like he definitely really was very intimidating in this role. So I thought he was really good. Um, so yeah, I think the characters are all very good. And I think the acting in here is good as well. And well, of course, once again, Martin Lawrence and Will Smith just have that brilliant chemistry with each other. So yeah, overall, good characters and good acting. So we have the plot of this film, and like, I'm not gonna lie, I actually really like the whole concept with this one about how Captain Howard, who once again, if you haven't seen the third film, some spoilers here, but yeah, Captain Howard, of course, he was killed in the previous movie, and now in this one he is posthumously being framed, and now basically Marcus and Mike have to go clear his name, but to do so they end up having to go on the run. It's honestly genuinely a cool concept for this new film, and I've got to say, I think the movie did it really well. Like, it was definitely a very fun, kind of on the run film, and yeah, once again, it was definitely a lot of fun. Like, the humor in this one was honestly really good. Like, it's definitely, once again, a really funny movie. Like a lot of the humor with Marcus and Mike and their chemistry, once again, it just works so well. They just have brilliant on-screen chemistry with each other, and yeah, it is definitely quite funny. But yeah, with that being said, it can be quite intense. Like I felt like there was kind of stakes here, alright. Not, I don't know if it was quite as much as the previous movie, but nonetheless, I do think there were some fairly high enough stakes here. And like it was definitely engaging and fun to watch, and as I said, the action sequences were a lot of fun, especially the way that they were shot. It does really well with the concept, and it's just a ton of fun. Now in terms of issues that I have with the plot, as I said, I think it can be just a bit over the top at times. Like with Marcus's whole thing of like believing that he can't die. And I mean, it was entertaining, it was funny, but I just kind of feel like maybe it was a little too over the top, to be honest. But it was still pretty funny nonetheless. But also, the movie could be a bit predictable at times. Like in particular, there was this one character in the movie, I'm not gonna say who, but I kind of had a feeling like this character was gonna turn out to be a villain, and I ended up being exactly right. They did turn out to be a villain. So yeah, I kind of was a bit predictable, alright, at times. But for the most part, it's a fun action plot, and it does the concepts well, and it's entertaining while also having pretty high stakes. So yeah, the plot of the movie is really good, and in terms of the narrative structure, like obviously the main plot in this one is, Captain Howard posthumously gets framed, and so Marcus and Mike end up going on the run from the law in order to clear his name. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much kind of the main plot of this one, and I think, as I said, the movie does it really well, and it's definitely a lot of fun and very entertaining. And the movie pretty much does a good job of, keeping it that one main plot throughout. But I think like there are like kind of a few subplots in this one. We have like Armando's whole redemption arc. And like also we have to have the subplot of Marcus and Mike being on the run, and yeah, there is a fair few things going on here. Yeah, it's like yeah, so there's kind of definitely a lot of stuff, alright, but with that being said, despite everything going on in it, I thought the movie did a very good job at, kind of keeping it the one main plot, or I was kind of feeling like it started to focus a bit too much on other things. Like, I think for the most part it has quite a good narrative structure despite everything going on. Like maybe at some points it kind of could have done a little better, like in order to kind of put some things together and have it feel a little more tight, but nonetheless I do think it was actually a really good narrative structure despite a lot going on. So that was good. So overall, Bad Boys Ride or Die was really good. It's definitely a fun new addition to the series. Like, once again, very good cinematography, got good editing, good music, got good characters, good acting. Martin Lawrence and Will Smith's chemistry is off the charts once again, and it's a cool concept which the movie executes pretty well. And yeah, it's overall just really fun and entertaining while also having some stakes to it. So yeah, if you've enjoyed the previous entries in the series, then I'd say you'll definitely like this one as well, because it's a lot of fun, alright. I'm not sure if this one's my favorite in the series. I feel like I'd have to kind of think about it, but overall, despite some issues, it's a really good movie overall. Again, if you like the previous entries and you just love those like fun action buddy cop flicks, definitely check this one out. So with that, I'm going to give Bad Boys Ride or Die an 8 out of 10. So with that, I'll see you guys next time, and bye.